very similar day, you're going to be able to get to the Sugar Bowl and watch a team, a couple of teams that will absolutely score more than anything you might see in Iowa, Kentucky. Alabama 6.5. The total is 56. Noon Eastern time kick on New Year's Eve. The Sugar Bowl. And Dave, how about motivation for Bama in this one? Are you concerned with it at all, or you think Saban will have these guys ready?
No, Saban's come right out, said that they're going to play. Look, the only problem here, I like Alabama, but I can't recommend them at 6.5 because it was 3. It's like, I don't know what's happening right now in the Georgia Southern game, but I saw guys on Twitter today posting Georgia Southern at -6, and it's like you had weeks to bet the game, literally weeks to bet the game, and you're laying 6 on game day when you could have laid 3.5. That's just stupid, okay? What it means to me is you're just following other people. So here, the bet was Alabama at 3.5 or 3. I think Alabama's going to win by more than a touchdown. So, I mean, I'm not suggesting that you take Kansas State for value. I don't think that value's enough to get you there. But and I'm going to give you Alabama as the best bet. But I wouldn't recommend betting it because the line is you just don't intentionally take 3 points, the worst of it, and expect to win long term. So I'll give you an opinion on Alabama. I'll use it as the best bet here in the show because I really don't like any of these games. Particularly, I have some ones I like, but they're just not on the show we're doing today. So Alabama, but I don't recommend it at the price.
Yeah, the price has gotten a little crazy because it's Alabama, Trig. But, if we ever hear, you got 15 players entered a transfer portal, you might be worried. But it's Bama, and the guys that are going to be right behind them are probably just as good. So, Bryce Young.
Let me jump in.
Go ahead.
The guys that are transferring weren't starters anyway.
Starters.
That's why they're transferring. Because they weren't going to play. Yeah. They basically, what I've been told is they were basically told to transfer because they weren't going to be on the roster next year. So.
Yep. So don't be dissuaded from actually going that way. It's not a mass exodus like Dave said. Yes, ain't one playing the field anyway. So the big one is Bryce Young and Will Anderson. They continue to say we're going to go. What do you do with this here? You, K-State, you've backed them many times this year. Do they have enough left in the tank to get it done?
So I'll offer up an opinion on the total, but I'll throw this out there as a way. So Dave said, you know what? I like Alabama. I can't do it at 6.5, but the team total for Bama is 30 and a half, a lot of places. And read an interesting stat. Alabama has scored 30 or more points in 46 of their past 53 games. 46 of their past 53 games. They've eclipsed 30 points. And I actually think that this is going to be an entertaining game from both sides. I think both sides are going to be up for this. Nick Saban came out and essentially called Kansas State a bad football team indirectly, but he still did. I'm sure that that's been plastered all over the locker room. And they Alabama, I don't know that I fully buy into the narrative that just because they're not going to care. I mean, it is notable that it's not a college football playoff game, and Alabama sort of, they measure success there by winning championships, not necessarily winning bowl games. But I think the total overall is low. I actually think this is going to be an entertaining football game. And if you base that, if you take that number, 46 of the last 53, and think Alabama's going to come to play, and they might get over that. And as long as Kansas State doesn't embarrass themselves, it's going to get over that mid-50s total. So I'll offer up a lean toward the over here.
All right. Liking towards the over. Finn, how about you? Is it Saban or pass for you, or you're looking at the total?
I don't. How do you win 7 national titles? 6 at Bama, one down south in Cajun country at LSU, and get excited about this. But again, I just said, hey, I think Clemson and Coach Dabo is uber competitive, and I think this will excite him. But as Dave said, Saban came right out and he used starters and Sugar Bowl in the same sentence. So I'm assuming that unless he wants some grief for that after the game, that he's telling the truth. And in that case, I think Kansas State's overmatched. But Kansas State has been over. I've said Kansas State's been overmatched 3 or 4 times this year, and they proved me wrong every damn time. So I thought they overachieved. That's Kansas State football. I mean, it's almost like Snyder never left. From what I watched this year from Kansas State. I'm not. I'll say this: I do have a game. Dave mentioned when a game moves like that. You're not going to get the best number. You can in the long run. It's probably going to, put a couple bullet-sized holes in your butt. And it probably will. There's a time and a place that you can get late on a number because you just think it's right. You just think it's good. You just think it's going to win, and you don't have to do it every time. I'm not in this game not because of that reason, but it's a damn good reason, Dave. And I will say this: Alabama's the play. I'm just not in here.
Not the play, but it's going to be an entertaining game. I'm with you, Trig. I think it's going to be one of the better, hell of a lot better than Kentucky, Iowa.